Hello, everyone, and it is February 17th, 2025. Welcome to the He Said, She Said Sports Talk podcast, and we are your hosts. I'm Big Red, and this is Toni. Hello, Toni.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm
Um,
good. How are you?
I'm doing good, good. We had a pretty eventful weekend this week in sports. NBA All-Star weekend was this weekend. A lot of feathers have been ruffled when it comes to this All-Star weekend and this format. So we're going to get into that a little bit, kind of talk about that for sure. So what do you feel about that? As far as the format goes, how do you like it?
Yeah, I mean, they switched it up from that typical East-West game format to that four-team, three-game elimination tournament.
Uh-huh.
Definitely a move in the right direction. Um, the game was notably more competitive, each of the games. I think the players, you could tell, were a little bit more competitive. They're having a little bit more fun, but also there was just a lot of stoppages. And for the players,
Mm-hmm.
for the audience, like honestly, I wasn't that entertained by the things they were doing during the stoppages. And
Yep.
then to me, playing a game with a target score of 40, these guys know how to score. So even if it is competitive, I felt like I was just watching scoring back and forth. Oh,
Yeah,
score.
yeah.
Oh, score. It wasn't as competitive as it could be, and I know that they were definitely missing a few notables and like LeBron, Giannis, Anthony Edwards. They were
Uh,
they were missed for me. And I do think I know there's been talk about a like USA versus World
World, yeah.
potentially kind
Been
of
hearing about
game
that.
next
Yeah.
year or the year after. I
Uh-huh.
like that direction that they're heading, and I'd be more excited about that. Um, so yeah, in conclusion, definitely improved, but still kind of boring.
Definitely. I agree. I don't know if it's just me or I'm a little too old, a little bit more old school, but like you said, with the Team USA versus the world, I would kind of like to see that more than the 14 format where it's just like you said, the games were the 40. It wasn't really like competitive as it should have been, in my opinion. I feel like it could have been more competitive. You know, it's just crazy because I'm so used to just like I just want to see an all-star game, like I
Yeah,
don't know, I don't know if I'm just too old school or what, but like I just want to see a good competitive all-star game. I know like in the old all-star games, like the first half would be usually like the get playing around and people just showing off and doing things for the fans. The second half would be a lot more competitive where there would be trying to win. But I didn't hate the format. um, Needless to say, the games were the 40 and stuff like that, but it just seemed like they kind of went by too fast. And
they went quick. Like I
yeah,
said, those guys know how to score, so going to 40
yeah.
is nothing.
And there's so many shooters nowadays. It's like so go to 40 is like the games went so fast, and then it's like you rarely get to see the players you like for that long either. It's like people are only playing like 8 minutes or eight or less, So me personally, I would rather see the USA versus the world, and then just turn that into an all-star where and then they compete. I'm tired of the load management, people saving themselves, you
Yeah.
know, for the season and all that stuff. I just wish they would compete more.
I want it to mean
Definitely.
something again. I want it to be fun and competitive and mean a little something. I don't know how they come up with that incentive.
Yeah.
But congrats to the NBA for their annual trot out of Mac McClung to jump over a car and win the dunk contest for the third year in a row. They
Hmm.
drag that poor boy out the G League once a year, show him off, and send him
Yeah.
back.
Put him right back in the G League. And this, I didn't hate the dunk contest, but man, it needs to be more competitive. Like, where are the guys at? Where are the? I mean, like, it just was bad. Besides a couple, like two people's dunks, the guy from the Spurs, I can't remember his name, but besides those two, like the dunks and stuff just weren't exciting. Slam dunk contest used to be one of the biggest things people looked into as far as All Star Weekend and look forward to. But
Yeah.
it's like now it's just like, it's like this guy's won it 3 years in a row off basically doing the similar same type of dunks he's done, not taking nothing away from him
Yeah,
because,
no, it was cool. It
he's
was
a,
cool.
he's
But
a,
if the same guy can win 3 years in a row, then
come
it's
on
not
now. Like,
competitive.
yeah. Yeah, that's just how I feel about it. I like that the 3-point shootout a little bit more. To me, that's always a little more competitive. You had Tyler Euro winning that.
Yeah.
Him and
No
Buddy
Steph
Hield
and
came down to
Sabrina
the
this year, though. No,
huh?
no Steph versus Sabrina this year. They both said
Yeah.
no to that. Caitlin Clark said no to that. And I do think it's funny that there were a couple people saying that Caitlin Clark ruined NBA All Star Weekend by not doing the 3-point contest. And
Wow.
you have to sit there and say that a WNBA player not participating in NBA All Star is going to ruin All Star Weekend for you for your ratings, then
Hmm.
maybe the women's game is worth investing in. I don't know. You know?
Yeah. No. I think the women's game is definitely worth investing in. I think they should intertwine them in like the challenges and stuff like that. Like the what was
They
that?
did. Dijonay, those girls, they won the they won the 2v2.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I loved seeing Rakia Jackson in the Celebrity All Star game as well. Give her a
Yeah.
little moment. So
Hmm. And like to me, like yeah, like to me, like even though the celebrity game wasn't obviously that good or like competitive or entertaining, but like to me, I kind of like that almost better than the regular All Star game. Really, it was just the format. I mean, I kind of got the format of it of just like having like the OGs and the young guys and the global guys. I get all that, but it's just like let's just have a roster and let these guys go at it. Let them make them compete. Let them compete. So it's like I don't know. It seems like players in the back in the day, used to compete in this. They didn't care about resting. They wanted to have the bragging rights. So it's just like nowadays it just doesn't seem as important.
yeah, you got to
But
come up with a new way to incentivize them to compete. And then
well,
a traditional game I think works better if there's
mm-hmm,
competition, but they needed a change. They needed to do something different. I'm glad they
well,
did something different. I don't think this is going to be the thing that sticks, but I'm glad they
I
tried
don't either. Yeah, I think they definitely need to just kind of swindle towards the USA versus
the
the
world.
world. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's more than enough players now globally that you can do that thing. Like maybe back in the late '90s, early 2000s, you couldn't, but now you definitely can with all the talent that's coming from across the globe. So
Yeah, it seems like the players are open to it and excited about it. So hopefully they try that out.
yeah, no, definitely, definitely. Um,
Speaking
your
of
boy
basketball.
Steph got the MVP, but it just seemed like I, yeah, he was definitely the MVP. I mean, he was shooting stuff from like half court, just doing Steph, but I don't know. It's just something about like the players stop a game and then you stop and then the one game elimination is like you don't get to see certain players after a certain game, if they lose. So it's kind of, it was good to see some players playing together like Jokic and Wemby. It was good to see them playing together.
Poor
Um,
Jokic had a work trip on his planned vacation.
yeah, yeah,
I feel like that man treats basketball like a job, and
no,
he really had to go on a company retreat to the All-Star game. He was
yeah,
not
yeah.
he never looks happy about it, and I love
Nah,
him for
never.
it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I believe he doesn't look happy with it for sure. But I think if he would be a lot more happier if he knew that it was something they would compete. Like if it was really a thing. He just looks at it like, nobody's not taking it serious.
His
So
attitude is so funny to me because it's like reverse Mamba mentality. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he acts like he doesn't give a crap about anything, and you know that he does care. Ultimately,
Hmm.
at the end of the day, he would not be playing in this sport the way that he is if he didn't care and he didn't love basketball. I believe he loves basketball. It's all the extraneous stuff. It's all the press. It's the all-star game. It's the
Yep. The
parade when you
interviews.
win, the interviews. He
Hmm.
doesn't like any of that stuff, and I love him for it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Strictly basketball.
Yeah, no, he's strictly about business, and I like that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No.
for sure. But yeah, no, I just think they need to a couple of obviously they need to work on some things with the All-Star weekend. They got to get more guys involved in the slam dunk. They got to get more star power in the slam dunk competition like it used to be,
Yes.
you know, in order because like I just don't like he can't win it again next year, you know.
Yeah. I
Four
like
years of,
him and all, but
I like him too.
fourth
I
year
have
in a
nothing
row would be
against him.
crazy. He's got to
Yeah,
bust out something huge and different.
yeah.
Like, listen, the car thing was cool, but
Oh, definitely. And the other one with the guy spinning around on the little thing, that was decent too. I'm not he's definitely got some hops and he's definitely there competing for sure. But I mean, come on, guys. All this talent in the NBA and we gotta get better guys in the slam dunk. And we gotta get guys putting effort in the all-star. But no, it was a good all-star weekend for sure, definitely. But we're gonna stick with basketball and kind of go into the women's uh college basketball weekend. I'll let you start this off. It was definitely a great weekend for sure.
it was a crazy weekend for women's college basketball. I had so much fun on Sunday afternoon. The Division I women's college basketball selection committee, they revealed their top 16, the seeding on Sunday
Hmm.
afternoon before the game started. And by
Yeah.
Sunday night, by the time the sun went down, that top 16 just kind of went in the shredder. There was so much going on this weekend, but I will say the game of the weekend for me had to be
Uh-huh.
UConn's 29-point win over South Carolina, snapping
Yeah.
South Carolina's 71 home win,
Home. That's crazy.
decimating them. UConn is peaking at the right time. If you
Yeah.
look at UConn's other major games against top 10 opponents, if you look at like the loss against USC, the loss to Notre Dame, both of those games, AZ Fudd was either not playing or not fully healthy.
Hmm.
And this game, you got to see a peak UConn team with a healthy AZ Fudd, healthy Paige
She
Becker,
balled out too.
playing together on the court, and AZ Fudd absolutely balled out. 28 points. She was a monster.
Uh-huh.
I mean, she was absolutely incredible. And I think there's a lot being said about Paige and her productivity this year, but I think that she's become a very, very good role player on that team and doing what she needs to do when she needs to do it.
Needs to
I don't
do it.
think you
Yeah.
need to score 30 every single game. And I think that's
She's
what
kind of
people
like
are looking.
Jalen Hurts of college basketball. She does
But
what she has to do when she has to do it.
But AZ Fudd is lethal. Over the last 3 games, she's averaging like just over 26 points per game. And I don't know if it's an oversimplification, but UConn goes as their 3-point shooting goes. Again, you look at those two
Uh-huh.
losses, they shot 19% from three in the loss to Notre Dame, and they shot 26% from three in the loss to USC. So
Yeah. And they shot
when they're
46% in
lights
that
out,
game.
they're winning. I think the one critique that I've always had to Gino Auriemma's offense and what used to work for them when they were a powerhouse in the early 2000s is they used to be so good that they could just be dominant. Now
Yeah.
you start to notice that some of their offense is a little bit stagnant and there's not a ton of movement in their offense and they definitely rely on just pure skill and
Uh-huh.
shooting. And so if there is something that ends up hurting them in the tournament, it's going to be that. It's going to be the 3-point shooting. Um,
Yeah.
the hottest team in women's college basketball, though, is Texas. Texas has beat 3 top 10 teams in a row. They beat South Carolina on Super
Uh-huh.
Bowl Sunday on February 9th, and then they beat
Yep.
LSU yesterday.
Yeah.
Madison
I
Booker
saw
looks
that too.
fantastic, and now that UCLA has lost. South Carolina looks mortal after 2 losses in a row. It
Hmm.
looks like Texas might be the hottest team going
Team, yeah.
into
To the
March,
tournament, yeah.
which is,
Yeah.
I mean, I know they were good, but those aren't the names you're expecting. You're expecting Juju Watkins and USC, who, by the way,
Uh-huh.
had a freaking monster
Monster
game,
game.
a monster game against UCLA. They beat
Yeah.
a beaten
Beat.
team. Juju
Uh-huh.
Watkins, 38 points, 11 rebounds. Get this one, 8 blocks. and 5 assists. That's freaking
Crazy.
crazy. What a
Yeah.
stat line. And she just passed 1,500 career points. She's chasing Caitlin's record. She is
Uh-huh.
everything that they say she is. She's so
Yeah,
good.
she's a baller for sure.
She is what 6'2", 6'1".
Mm-hmm.
She's
6'1",
she's a
yeah.
big guard and she's sturdy. Like there
Mm-hmm.
are not a lot of basketball players that are built like Juju Watkins, and she can handle
Yeah.
the freaking ball.
No,
Like
she's big and strong. She can get to her spots.
she
That
is
she's such in control. She kind of give me like a Luca feel. Like she can
she's
just get
such a
to her
special
spot.
talent.
Yeah, for sure. And to touch back on that UConn game too, is like UConn played so well. They almost like doubled South Carolina in rebounds. They had like 48 rebounds to South Carolina's 29. And then like you also mentioned with 3-pointers, South Carolina only shot 17% from three. So it's just like a bad game for them overall. You know, they
Yeah,
were three for
definitely a
17.
bad game for them.
Yeah, 3 for 17. It was just crazy. And then, like you said, with Paige, I love Paige because, you know, she just does, like you said, like she just reminds me of like I said, a Jalen Hurts in football, kind of like she just gets what she gets. Like she can give you those games, but then she can give you the games where she played in this game where she had, 12 points, 10 boards, and 7 assists. Almost having a triple double. And UConn and looks good for sure. And Fudd, she's just a baller. Like she's just clutch. I can't wait to see her in the WNBA. She's a
Yeah.
baller for sure.
She's just got to stay healthy, man. She's not
Yeah.
had a good, full, healthy season, and her and Paige have not had a full, healthy season together. So I
Hmm.
think they're peaking at the right time. It looks to me like UConn is peaking at the right time. Texas is
Texas.
peaking at the
Yep.
right time. They're the strongest team right now,
Hmm.
going into the next couple of weeks leading up to selection. Um, and then Notre Dame also just continues to look really promising with Hannah Hidalgo and Olivia Miles. They stay at
Yeah.
the top. They're very,
I like them
they're
for sure.
very strong. That's such a good
Yeah.
backcourt.
Yeah,
They're
they are.
they're so good, and they're unbeaten in the ACC, which does have a couple teams in the top 25. So, um, UNC and North Carolina played like a thriller this weekend
Yeah.
too, which
Hmm.
right after getting the nod for that number 2 spot, like I said, the top 16 went to the shredder because NC State then lost
Yeah, it was a lot of
to
losses. Yeah.
Carolina. So crazy weekend. The championship race is wide open. There's not a solid number 1 in my mind. I think
Nope.
LSU's loss to Texas keeps them out of that number 1 seeding for sure,
Hmm.
solidly. They're going to be sitting at
Yeah.
number 2. TCU excites me. Haley Van Lith is having a great season. I think they're
Hmm.
sitting as a number 3 seed right now. So there's so much to look forward to with the women's.
Yeah, there's not a solid number one, which makes it exciting because it just has to play out, and you're going to get a lot of good games in the tournament because so like this year's women's tournament is going to be nuts.
I know.
It's going to
It's just
be
so wide open. It's just so
yeah.
wide open, and you have so many good teams that are going to be competing against
Hmm.
each other throughout these brackets. The notable slip with the South Carolina loss is that they move into the Spokane region, so that just changes where they are and who they might play. So
Yeah,
lots of drama, lots of stakes, and a wide open race with
wide open.
some teams peaking right now and teams like UCLA that were unbeaten starting to look mortal.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, Juju put a stop to that for sure. She bought out against them in that big win for USC for sure. And then, on the men's side, to me, the women has been a lot more exciting than the men's, you
Yeah.
know. But,
The men have a solid number 1. They do.
yeah, yeah,
They have
yeah.
a very solid number 1 in Auburn.
Alabama played this weekend with Auburn winning 94 to 86 or 85. I'm sorry, but I watched most of that game. It was a great game. It was definitely a great competitive game, but Auburn obviously took it, and then they kind of controlled the game most of the game, but it was definitely competitive for sure. And Auburn looks to be the number 1 overall seed as far as the men's go.
Yeah,
But
for everybody waiting for the other shoe to drop, 6 straight weeks at number 1. They beat the number 2 on the road at number 2. So
uh-huh.
I don't know where you find the flaw in that plan because they seem to have it pretty locked up. The SEC is in absolute domination mode. They could have anywhere between 9 to like 13 teams in
Yeah,
the tournament,
in the
which is
tournament, yeah, they're definitely deep.
crazy. And yeah, I think beating number 2 Alabama on the road definitely solidifies for me that Auburn is the team to beat going into selection.
Two, yeah,
I think
yeah.
they'll end up staying at number 1.
Number one, yeah. Same here, same here. This is kind of not really off subject, but the only other game I watched this weekend was the Buckeyes, right, against Michigan, and
I
they
didn't watch
lost.
that one.
They lost, right, 86-83. Which, Ohio State basketball, you already know we're like a football town, right? But like we've had some good basketball teams, but not lately, right? And this is like this team, like it hurts to watch the Buckeyes basketball team. I'm gonna just tell you now, I couldn't watch it all, and then I looked at it at the end and watched how they lost. It was just bad, man. And like they're really going to have to do something. I'm just saying, putting this out here for Ohio State basketball, they're going to have to get another coach because the John Diebler guy is not it. He's not recruiting well. I just don't think he's the answer for them. And they're kind of like on the bubble, looking on the outside, looking in, just to be a bubble team. So I don't think they'll make the tournament, but it was just a real bad loss for them. Thornton airballing a potential game-winning shot at the end was just not it. So I noticed there was a lot of. I got like this group chat in my phone where were like buzzing. They were like talking crazy all weekend about that game the other day, about the Buckeye game, and they were just like so pissed, and they made some good points in the chat. They were just saying like, well, what are we going to do? They need a new coach. We're not getting recruits in, which they are right about that. We're not getting recruits in, but um, you know, it's just bad, right? It's looking bad right now for OSU in basketball for sure.
Yeah,
And they can't seem to beat They can't seem to beat Michigan in football or basketball or nothing. So
doesn't look good for my Syracuse Orange either. It's my
oh yeah,
daughter, and
yeah,
they used to be a basketball school. I mean,
yeah,
I think we're a football school now. I haven't been there in a while, but I think we're a football school now.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, for
basketball
sure.
looks probably as bad as it's ever looked at Syracuse right now, and they definitely
Hmm.
need some new life. So we're not gonna talk about
Yeah, past the Jim Boeheim era. Yeah,
it. Yeah.
for sure. But no, let's touch on this free agency as far as NFL goes. There's a lot of action going on.
Nice week. It's a big week. Tomorrow or Tuesday, which is when this podcast drops, is the beginning
Hmm.
of the tag period. So they'll have until March 4th. Teams will have until March 4th to be able to tag their players.
Hmm.
And it's a big off season for a lot of teams and a lot of players.
Yeah, for sure. Your boy T. Higgins, there's been a rumor today that the Bengals were thinking about franchise tagging him again. How
Yes.
do you feel about that, with you being a Bengals fan?
Right. So, I mean, listen, I think the expectation is that T. Higgins should never hit the open market.
Never.
He
I
should
agree.
not hit the open market. And I think the front office is on board with that. It looks like what they're attempting to do here is get a deal done before the tag deadline. But if they can't secure and lock up some kind of deal with T. Higgins, that they
Hmm.
will tag him and either continue to try to work things out or trade him for all he's worth. And if we can get everybody else that needs to be signed, extended, and whatnot
Hmm.
all done, I've gone through that list of priorities. I don't think that T is the top priority of this offseason, but he's certainly one of the core 4.
Who do you think is y'all's top priority if it's not T?
Jamar. It's Jamar. You know it's Jamar. And it's not even close. There should be a blank
I knew
check.
you would say that.
There's a blank check somewhere, and hopefully, fingers crossed, there's a blank check in the front office of the Bengals that just says for Jamar, and he can just fill it in, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever he wants, he should get. They need to work out a deal with Jamar. That's priority number one. Then I think you really need to work on keeping Trey Hendrickson. I think that has
Yeah.
to be number
That's the one I was worried about.
right.
Trey, yeah.
The defense needs a lot of work, obviously. Defense wins championships. We saw that. And
Mm-hmm.
you need to build around him. There are definitely some veteran guys that you can cut to create some cap space, and you can get some younger players,
Yeah,
draft
draft young.
defense
Yep.
heavy, and then cut your veteran guys on defense that aren't producing like they used to and are taking up a ton of your cap space. That way, you can then take priority number 3, which is T. Higgins, and work out a deal.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, no.
absolutely need T. But if you can't keep him, if you can't afford to keep him, which you
Get something
can,
for him.
you can. But if you do have to trade him, you got to trade him for all he's worth. He should never hit the open market. He should never be able to test free agency. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, 100%. No, you hit it right on the head too. That was my opinion. You start off with Jamar, obviously.
Blank check.
Then,
Blank
yeah,
check.
then you gotta keep Trey. You can't have the leading NFL sack leader 17 and a half sacks and just let him go. You gotta get him
A
re-signed
leader
too.
on your team. He's a leader on
Yeah,
your team.
yeah, definitely. And then T. I would love for them to keep T. I think they are going to franchise tag him again, unfortunately. But hopefully they can try to do that for this year and then try to work it out for next year.
Look,
You know.
the front office is notorious for taking a really long time to get these deals done. I'm hoping that because of the pressure that Joe Burrow is putting on the front
Mm-hmm.
office through all of the interviews and things that he's done in the media recently, because he's been on just about every media outlet you could be on, talking
Yeah.
about cap and how he could restructure his contract and this.
Uh-huh.
Clearly, this is what he wants, and I don't know how you don't keep your franchise
And
quarterback.
that's big. That is big
That's a
for a
big
quarterback to
thing.
do that because most quarterbacks do not restructure their contract for the benefit of other players on the team. That usually does not happen. So I give Joe Burrow a lot of fucking credit for that because
He was sitting there going, "Well, I'm not entirely sure how the cap works, but here's my understanding of it." And da 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 da. You just know that boy has an Excel spreadsheet of exactly how it
yeah.
works, because there's no way that somebody of his intelligence and his determination and dedication
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know exactly what.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna sell me that, Joe? You're gonna sell me that you, oh, I think the cap works this way. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
come on. You know exactly how it works. You know exactly what you would do, and you know exactly what you want. And that's why you've been on 47 different podcasts and TV media outlets
Yep.
saying, these are the guys I want. This is what I want. We all want this. We all want to stay together. I'm willing to do whatever. They're willing to do it. We want to, like, he's putting so much pressure, and credit to him for backing his boys,
Yeah.
including Gesicki in that, because
Yeah.
Gesicki's been a phenomenal tight end. He's basically another receiver,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been great. I would love to
He's
see
a
him
weapon
get
for sure.
another 1 year deal at least.
Yeah.
The window is Joe's career, so let's get it done. Let's keep everybody in the building. According to
Mm-hmm.
Joe, we have the room, so
Yeah.
let's make it happen. And
Yeah,
then
let's make it happen.
draft defense.
Yeah. No, like I said, big credit to Joe for willing to restructure his contract to keep them boys together. I mean, he sees what they have. They were so close a few years back to winning it all, and he sees where it can go. And if they can get the right pieces, like you said, on defense,
And he's watched key pieces already walk out of the building because
yeah,
the Bengals have been unwilling to pay. So credit to him for really
that's exactly
putting the
why
pedal
I
to the metal
appreciate,
and saying,
yeah.
here you go. I'm going to put this pressure on you guys. You guys got to get it done.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. That's exactly why I appreciate him doing what he's doing to put the pressure on the Bengals owners who are usually are not willing to dish out the big money contracts like that. So, definitely kudos to him, and it just shows how unselfish that he is. Because, like I said, no other quarterbacks are restructuring their money. Only person who I would have said that possibly would have done that was Tom Brady, because I think he might have done that like maybe like once, but he never really got he never was the highest paid, quarterback, even though he
Smart,
probably should have been.
smart
But
players, dedicated players, guys who want to win are willing to do what it takes to win. For Joe, this is what it takes to win. And he's willing to
definitely.
do it. And that's awesome. And like way to go to bat for your guys. That's
Hmm.
that's some loyalty that you
Definitely.
think that a family organization like the Bengals would appreciate.
No, for sure.
But speaking of
Right now,
quarterbacks, there's so
quarterbacks.
many. There's so
Yeah,
many that could go anywhere.
yeah, that's what I was going to do. I was going to give you a list of the quarterbacks. You tell me what are your favorites and where you would, which one of your favorites and where would you kind of like to see them to go. But you have Sam Darnold, Justin Fields, you have Russell Wilson, your boy Jameis. Then you have like other quarterbacks like Mariota, Mason Rudolph, and all them. But we'll just stick with Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, and Sam Darnold.
So what? Where I see the best fit for each of these guys?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
So I think Aaron Rodgers is a difficult one, right? The Jets
yeah.
have parted ways with Aaron Rodgers. It seems like wherever he goes, he has a lot of say in what happens. So maybe this isn't the best place for him, but I could see the
Hmm.
Raiders being a good place, good landing spot for Aaron Rodgers. Think
Definitely.
about it. You've got, a young tight end in Brock Bowers. You could potentially add some key pieces with wide receivers, but I don't think Aaron Rodgers is done. I think he has more left in the tank, so to speak.
Hmm.
I don't think he wants to be done. So I think that could be a good 1 year spot for him. The Raiders really don't have anybody at quarterback, and not sure they're going to be getting one in this draft. So you definitely are going
Yeah,
to go find one. It could be Aaron Rodgers. That could be a good fit.
yeah. I was talking. It's funny you mentioned Aaron Rodgers because I was talking to some Cleveland fans and they were thinking about possibly bringing in Aaron Rodgers
How
as
much
well.
money does Cleveland want to spend? They're already spending so much money. They've taken
Man,
so many cap hits. I mean,
yeah.
Deshaun Watson, what they can't afford, nor should they want Aaron Rodgers.
One, but
That's great.
he might not come with as much, now that he's older now. So
That's
but
crazy.
no,
That's crazy. You guys should pick up Kirk Cousins. Okay.
no, yeah, yeah.
That's a good
That's
spot.
a good one. That
Uh,
is a good one.
I would love to see Sam Darnold return to New York in blue.
Giants.
I think he should go to the Giants. I think that's a good landing spot for him. You get another stud receiver because he was very successful with Justin Jefferson and Addison. I could
Uh
see
huh.
him being successful with Malik Neighbors as his receiver.
Yeah.
That could be a good spot for him.
No, definitely. For sure. Sam Darnold, I like Sam. And he would be a good fit for the Giants because they wouldn't have to worry about developing a rookie. He can come right in, put the
Yeah.
system around him.
You can start to
Obviously,
build around him, see if you
yeah,
right.
definitely.
I don't think he's going to be. I mean, he'll be expensive after having a playoff run with Minnesota, but after that playoff game, who knows how expensive. Um, Russell
What's
Wilson,
up with these Steelers quarterbacks, man? You got Russell Wilson
Russell
and Justin
Wilson
Fields.
and Justin Fields are both going to be available. I think the Steelers need to keep one of them.
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
think
the
so too.
Steelers are gonna, have success anywhere else. I think Justin Fields is ready to start again. I think he's sat behind Russell Wilson. I think he's ready.
Hmm.
Whether the Steelers give him that opportunity or not, if not, I think the Jets should go after Justin Fields.
Yeah, I see Russell
I
at
could see this. I could see Russell doing another 1 year deal with the Steelers. It looks like the Steelers are willing to kind of play around in this. We're a playoff team, but we're a mediocre playoff team. We never really make a run. We're going to keep
Uh-huh.
Tomlin, who's a great coach that takes us to the playoffs every year, but never really gets us any further than that. And Russell Wilson kind of seems like the quarterback that mimics that.
Yeah.
Great
Mm-hmm.
quarterback, no longer in his prime, is a playoff quarterback, but isn't going to take you all the way. And that
Yeah.
seems to be that the Steelers are kind of at that stagnation point where they can't part ways with Tomlin because he is such a good regular season coach.
Yeah.
They'll probably just sign Russell Wilson to another 1 year deal because who else are they gonna go get?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then if they do that and if they let Justin Fields slip another year, I think the Jets need to go get him.
No, definitely. I think I agree with you on them needing to keep one of them. I just don't think they're like fully committed to Justin Fields. He is the younger one of the two. Um, so I could
You
see,
have to commit to a guy like that though. You have
yeah.
to put the trust back in and put the ball back in his hands and say, "It's yours.
Mm-hmm.
Go take it." And I don't think the Steelers organization is ready to do that.
Yeah, they're not ready to do that. So that's why I think they would keep Russell and let Fields go. As far as a spot for Fields, whew, I don't know. There's a lot out here. Like the Saints could be a spot. Like you said, Las Vegas. There's a few teams, but it's just like, are they going to commit to Justin as being the guy? Or are they going to allow a rookie to come in to maybe compete with him? It's just kind of one of those things. How teams feel about Justin, for that matter. But
I think
what
he deserves that shot. And then
you know,
if the Giants don't go get Sam Darnold, I would love
go
to
get
see
Jameis.
Jameis in New York.
That's what I was just about to say.
I would love to see him in New York if for some reason he ends up staying a backup. I think he'd be a great backup for the Falcons for Michael Penix Jr. Young,
Mm-hmm.
basically going to be a rookie quarterback going into the next season. He only had a couple games under his belt.
Yeah.
Jameis has a wealth of experience and he's just a bright light and he's so positive and I think that would be such a good influence for a guy like Penix. So if he
And
could stay a backup, I'd love to see him in Atlanta.
yeah, no, definitely. Jameis, I think he would be a good fit because, like, even though he was with New Orleans once, I think he'll be a fit back with New Orleans.
He could definitely go back to New Orleans. That's
New
home.
Orleans liked the quarterback they got there. They were saying that the coaches like the Spencer Rattler kid. They said he has potential, but there's not a for sure. It's not a for sure that he's a franchise guy. So you bring a guy in like Jameis that could play and start if Rattler's not your guy, or if Rattler is your guy, Jameis could definitely be the backup for him to school him, kind of groom him a little bit. But I would like to see Jameis back with I could see him back with New Orleans, believe it or not, which is
I
crazy.
could
But
definitely see him enjoying that. That would be great. It would be great for him. I think he could potentially start somewhere if he really looked into it. I don't see why he couldn't start over Spencer Rattler. Give the kid another year to build and develop.
hmm
Not 100% sold on him, but it seems like New Orleans is. So
yeah, no, definitely. I
that's
don't know.
definitely a
I
good
hope
landing spot. Selfishly, I want to see him in New York so that I can go to a couple games.
yeah. So you go to the game, yeah, for sure. I already know. I mean, that's a good spot for him too, because I mean,
Yeah.
New York doesn't have a quarterback, and if they don't get what they want in the draft, there's been talks of Shador and Cam Ward and
Yeah.
all of that. If they don't get their guy there, I could see them going after Jameis for sure.
I can see them going after Jameis. I do think the best move for New York though is to go after Sam Darnold, not draft a quarterback in this draft class, and then hold out for somebody they really
Yeah,
want, like potentially an Arch Manning.
yeah. Next year's draft class is going to be crazy, so I could see them holding out for the next draft class and just
Yeah.
maybe just bringing in a vet for sure.
Yeah.
Um, Definitely.
You never
There's
know. There's a lot
There's
of
some
there's some wide receiver openings too, though, and where depending on where they all land, could shake up everything that we just said about the quarterbacks. So
no for sure. We can talk about the wide receivers. You got like guys like your boy, like I said, T. You got Amari Cooper,
mm.
Stephon Diggs. You got Keenan Allen. There's a few receivers that are out there for sure.
Debo
DeAndre,
Samuel requested a trade.
you said who?
Debo Samuel requested a trade
Oh
from the
yeah, yeah,
49ers,
Debo, yeah,
and the Rams are letting go of Cooper Kupp.
yeah, and Cooper as well, yeah,
Yeah,
and those are big pieces too. I was hearing rumors about Dallas for Debo Samuel, which wouldn't be a bad pickup for them for sure. But
that would be a huge win for Dallas.
yeah, because they need some other pieces for sure. They still need some pieces out there, and the guy to go with C.D. Lamb. Then you could put him in the backfield. They don't have a number one running back, in my opinion. So, he's the kind of guy that you can just kind of mix and match and put him wherever's needed. That would be a good pickup for those guys.
Debo is so versatile that he would be a great pickup for somebody for a team like the Cowboys who need a few pieces.
Definitely, definitely. One guy who I'm interested to see what's going to happen is Stephon Diggs. I'm
Mm.
curious to see if he'll end up staying with Houston or he'll go elsewhere, and where would he go?
He
I
didn't
could kind of
have
see
a lot
the
of time with
Chiefs.
Houston. He didn't have a lot of time with Houston, so
No,
I would love to see how that all develops. Uh,
yeah, with Stroud there and stuff, but I could see Diggs going to the Chiefs, believe it or not.
mm,
With DeAndre Hopkins, they don't really have a number one out
they
there.
don't have a
DeAndre
one.
is kind of up there in age, and Mahomes needs some more pieces, some veteran guys. They got a young Xavier Worthy that's coming up, had a good rookie year,
Yeah.
but I
Are they
could
going
see
to
them.
spend on somebody like Diggs?
That's the question, or
I don't
maybe
know
like
that the
a
Chiefs give me
savvy
the
vet
feeling
like
that
Keenan
they'd
Allen,
spend.
or even maybe like Keenan Allen, a savvy vet. But I don't know. We'll see if they will be able to or be willing to spend the money
And then I
like
think
that.
Amari Cooper, I think it's worth testing it out in Buffalo another year. I don't think
I
he
think so
really
too.
got going with them. I think he could
Yeah.
do a full off season with them, a full preseason with them, and see if he can
Mm-hmm.
get something going there because he is a great wide receiver. He'd be a great piece for them to pair with
Yeah.
Keon Coleman. So I think it's worth the Bills testing that out at least another year.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they need to re-sign him for sure. He didn't have a bad year with those guys, and
He
like
was a
it's like you said,
mid-season pickup. He never really got
yeah.
the chemistry right. They just
Mm-hmm.
continue to rely on the same things. When the Amari Cooper trade happened, I was sitting there thinking that's the best trade that's happened this season.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it didn't actually pan out to even mean much.
No, for sure. No, like you said, and then like even with my Eagles, right? There's a couple of free agents that are out there that I feel like they need to keep. Like
Josh Sweat.
Josh Sweat and Zach Bond, 100%. Those two should be the top on the
Josh
list.
Sweat, they did something. He's young. He's like 27, right? And then they did something. They got a 1 year. They messed around with that 1 year contract and
Mm-hmm.
kept him for this
Yeah.
run. But I think he's proved that he's worth paying. So
Yeah. No,
if
definitely.
Eagles aren't gonna do that, I'm curious to see what he's worth out there in free agency.
Yeah.
But for your sake, as an Eagles fan, you better hope that they do something to keep him.
Yeah. No, definitely for sure. I think the list. No, Josh Sweat is definitely at the top of the list, but I think Zach Bond is probably priority one for them. Because like the Eagles draft well, but they usually don't draft linebackers well. And they picked up this guy in free agency basically as a specialist for the New Orleans Saints, and he basically almost turned into the defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
So I would keep Zach Bond as my priority, and then definitely got to keep Josh Sweat as well on the edge for sure. You got guys out there too like Khalil Mack
Yes,
and
the
Hassan.
Chargers need to do everything they can to keep him. He is such a leader on their team. I think he matches the Harbaugh mentality very well, and that's the kind of guys that Jim Harbaugh is looking for. They love him
Mm-hmm.
there. I don't see why they wouldn't at least attempt to keep him. I don't think they can let him walk.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree. Um, I love Khalil Mack. He's it's I don't know. He's almost there as far as like Hall of Fame talk. He's borderline Hall of Famer for real.
Yeah.
So like he's had a stellar fucking career and he's still playing at a good level. Usually guys will drop off a lot, but he's still a dangerous guy on that edge for
Yeah, he
sure.
hasn't had a major drop off, but to me, the reason that you don't let certain people walk is the leadership that they bring to your team. And Jim Harbaugh has a young Chargers team led by
Hmm.
Justin Herbert. You got young guys out there, Lad McConkey. You need veteran leaders on your team that aren't having drop offs. And right now, that is exactly what Khalil Mack is.
Yeah, yeah. And then another thing too, another free agent too that I was thinking about was DJ Reed, the corner from the Jets. He's in free agency, but I think the Jets need to keep him. I actually like him better in coverage than Sauce Gardner, especially when it came to man coverage. Like Sauce, don't get me wrong, he had a great rookie year, great first couple years, but he kind of fell off a little bit. Not saying he's not a great player. Maybe it was the system, whatever. Hopefully Aaron Glenn will get in there now. Aaron Glenn was a DB as
Yeah.
well, so
Glenn's a
hopefully he,
defensive minded guy. I could see them trying to keep him, but
yeah.
it
I
is
think
going
they
to
should
depend
keep
on how
Reed.
much they spend on a quarterback
No, definitely.
and what the hit ends up being with Rodgers. I mean,
Hmm.
you
Yeah, no,
got it before
for
March
sure.
to make sure that the bonuses don't hit, and so yeah.
No, yeah, no, definitely, definitely. Um, let's see. As far as safeties go, I like Harrison Smith's kind of up there in age, but I still like him. He plays well. Buda Baker from the Cardinals, I think he'll fit well in with someone too. If the Eagles weren't already set at safety, I would love for Buda Baker to be an Eagle because he's a dog for sure. But no, one
It's a
thing,
big market. It's a big market this year. We also didn't talk about Cooper Cup. I mean, the Rams.
yeah. What do you
The
see
Rams
where
look
he's
like
what?
they might also part ways with Stafford.
Yeah, I heard about that too. They just looking to do a complete rebuild, I think.
Which is, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're a playoff team.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Messing with the formula right now. You should be building.
Hmm.
I don't think Stafford's window's closed yet. And
Yeah, I don't think so either.
but I guess Cup is getting a little bit older. I don't know if he's just taking up too much cap space for them. Is that like
Hmm.
what was the reason?
I don't know. I think it was like with injuries, and then they were saying his production was dropping, but I'm guessing that's part of what to do with the injuries, would be my guess. And then, with the emergence of Puka Nakua, um, they just feel like they can let him go in free agency or let him go or trade him and get value for him. But I still think Cooper Cup can be an elite receiver in this league.
I think he'd be great for the Raiders if they're able to go get a good, good quarterback.
Yeah.
Why not add Cup to that? Get a veteran guy in there, pair him with
Hmm.
Brock Bowers. I've said this before. I think I
You,
said it about Tyreek Hill when Tyreek was saying, "Oh, I want out of Miami," which apparently he's not leaving Miami now. God
yeah,
knows
yeah. That
Miami is
was
like the most forgiving place in the world, apparently. Um,
that was wild too. Yeah.
but I guess he's staying. But yeah, if the Raiders can go get a veteran wide receiver one, like Cooper Cup, and then figure out the quarterback situation a little bit, that I think
Hmm.
they're back into playoff contending territory.
Yeah. Now with Cooper Cup, the only thing I can envision with him seeing, which in my opinion would be a good spot for him, like Buffalo. Like, yes, I know they got a Mario Cooper thing going on, but him, Keon, and Amari put Cooper in the slot. Give Josh Allen that another piece, that third weapon out there. I mean, they got Dalton Kincaid at tight end as well, so you know, Buffalo, they're trying to get over this hump of beating the Chiefs, and they're going to have to do it with guys out there, and like their defense. They need pieces on defense, obviously, as well too, but.
Yeah.
I think they need a little bit more firepower on that offense to get over the hump as well. Not just depend on Josh Allen to do his heroics. Like actually have some guys out there, some dogs out there. Keon Coleman, it was his rookie season, so look for him to be better as well. But I like Cooper Kupp maybe going to Buffalo or what was the other team? Like you said, Vegas, or even Dallas.
God. We haven't even mentioned the Titans. The Titans need so much.
Yeah, they need everything.
They need everything. Everybody that we just mentioned could go to the Titans.
Could go to the Titans. Yeah, literally.
They need everything.
Yeah.
Poor guys.
Everything. Yeah.
Everything except for Mayo, because Will Levis has that covered.
Mayo. Yeah. What was he drinking? The mayo with coffee?
Yeah, he's got the
Oh
team
my
snacks on
God.
lock. So I mean,
That's like that's like one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard. Mayo.
Titans need everything. So yeah.
Yeah. Mayo with coffee. That is.
Oh no, that ruins coffee and that ruins mayo.
Yeah. No, definitely.
I had some funky foods in my day, but no.
The Titans, I think the Titans definitely need to draft a quarterback. Well, no, I think they not a quarterback. I think they need to draft Travis Hunter. I'm sorry. I think they need to
Hunter
give
is entering the combine as a defensive player.
Corner.
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah. Which I don't mind because he's going to get his money playing DB, more money playing DB for sure.
If he goes to the Titans, he could play both.
I think he needs to play. I think he needs to play both if he goes to the Titans for sure. But I think whatever team.
I hope he goes somewhere else. I hope he goes somewhere where they have, a decent offense.
Yeah, where they don't have to rely on him too much both ways. That's what I was going to get into. Like, I think he needs to. I want to see him play both, just because I want to see if he can.
Yeah.
Do it. Like I like to see things that are never been done before. And obviously he won't play as much plays as he did in college. But I think there can be some teams that could put some packages in for him on the offensive side of the ball that could definitely help them.
If they could get a decent quarterback, I think that I would love to see Travis Hunter again on a team like the Giants, where you could fill him in as a second or third wide receiver to Malik Neighbors for special package plays, but then the Giants could use him on defense. So.
Yeah, definitely. No, 100%. Which, like I said, he's better to me. He's better at the corner position.
Yeah.
I know he won the Heisman mostly off of his offensive production in college, but that's because teams just really didn't throw at him as much on defense. But I think he's a corner in the league, but I just definitely feel like he's talented enough, and he's got enough explosiveness in him to where you got to put something in
where he can at least try both. I want to see him try both.
Yeah,
it's so special that you get a player like this. It doesn't come around very often, and so I just hope he goes to a team that knows his worth and is able to look past all of the negative press that has come out about Travis Hunter and all these things, and look past the Colorado of it all, because I think Colorado got a lot of unnecessary hate as well.
Yeah.
And focus on, this is a talented kid, and he's clearly a top defender, and I think he should definitely focus on playing corner, but being able to put in specialty packages where you use him in the offense, because he's elite there as well.
Yeah, he definitely is. And I mean, if you just watch his tape, you can see he's elite on that offense, and he's got great hands. He's not a great route runner, but he's a polished route runner for sure. And he does enough, and he has a great vertical leap. He just goes and gets the ball. He has a high IQ.
His vert is crazy.
Crazy.
Are you seeing him jump?
Yeah, I watched him play basketball too, doing windmills in between the legs. Like he's
I had the
definitely
great
athletic
fortune.
guy.
I had the great fortune of watching a lot of Colorado football this year. My brother goes to school there, and
Yeah.
I have enjoyed watching Shador and Travis Hunter, and I think being a fan of the team, thanks to my a family member being there, kind
Uh-huh.
of paired with like hearing all this outside hate, I didn't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get the hate, but
Yeah. It just
and
kind of comes with the
I've
coach
watched a
and
lot of Shador Sanders tape as well, and I think that he's getting a lot of hate as a quarterback prospect, and I don't understand because if anything, this is a kid that's been prepped his entire life to be this position. So
yeah. No, definitely. I like Shador. I mean, Shador definitely has all the qualities to be a great quarterback. He does the work. He's a great thrower. He's got great precision in the pocket. He moves well in the pocket. He's not a great scrambler runner. He can move enough when he has to, but like you said, a team and the GM and the coach can get him in there, and I think Shador would be great. I just don't want him to go to the Giants because I don't want him in my division. We already got Jaden Daniels. I'm not
yeah,
worried about Dak Prescott at all. But
Shador on the
yeah,
Giants would be lethal. I
no,
think
that would him and
they make a
Malik
decision
Neighbors.
like that. Uh, that would be a great decision for them, and they can then they don't have to go get somebody like Sam Darnold. They'll have their
Yeah,
quarterback of the future, and they can go build around him. If you build around somebody like Shador, who is used to playing with no offensive line, by the way, so Giants,
yeah.
he'll be
Get that
ready.
offensive line. Yeah,
um, but you're right. He's not a great scrambler, but he reads really well, he assesses really well, and
he's got great accuracy.
he's got great accuracy. He's very well prepared. He, to me, models his game more after like a Brady esque
Mm-hmm.
kind of player, a Joe Burrow
Yeah,
type of player,
he
where it's,
trained with Brady too.
yeah. And it's very
Yeah,
evident because you see a lot of similarities, all the similarities that I mark Joe's game and Brady's and Tom Brady's game. I see similar attributes in Shador Sanders as well. He's got a really strong pocket presence, very, very good vision, good accuracy. You see him go through all his progressions really fast, and he's really well prepared, and he diagnoses defenses really well.
no, definitely, 100%. I like Shador a lot. I think he could be a great pro in this league as long as he's in the right system. But no, he's definitely up there for sure as far as top quarterbacks. I don't understand where all the hate comes from. Either it's just a Colorado, Deion Sanders is his dad,
I
obviously.
think it's because he could use media training. I would love to give
True.
Sanders media training just to be a little bit smoother when it comes to doing his media.
Yeah, no, true, true. Like
Because he can come across
a
a
little
little bit
cocky.
arrogant. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
And
definitely noticed that.
I don't think he is. That's the thing. Like he's prepared. He's
Yeah.
confident because he's prepared, and for whatever reason he puts on this little flourish of arrogance that I don't think he needs. I think
Hmm.
it is just confidence, and he's
Yeah.
projecting it in this way. I'm not I mean, I'm not going to try to sit here and understand why he's projecting it that way, but he's certainly projecting that confidence as arrogance when he does these media interviews, and I don't think that that's true.
Yeah, no, no. I think he's a team player for sure.
He's a
When
coach's
you
kid at heart, and I know
yeah,
other coaches' kids, and I know what it's like to be a coach's kid, and sometimes you
it's
can
a
come
lot of
across a
pressure.
little bit arrogant because you're just so freaking confident in
Yeah.
yourself and your abilities because you have to be as a coach's kid because you're always going to feel the pressure of, oh, my dad's the coach. Are people going to doubt me and doubt my role and doubt my position because of who he is? Are they going to, nepo baby me and think that maybe I'm not good enough to be here and I'm only here because my daddy got me here and this, that, and the other thing.
Hmm.
And so you have to develop a level of confidence and self-security and understanding exactly
Definitely.
how prepared you are, how knowledgeable you are, and how like ready for that moment that you are. And for Shador, that has spiraled into a little bit of arrogance in what comes across as arrogant, but I truly think he's a well-prepared team player and he can diagnose the crap out of a defense, and I would want him on my team.
No, definitely. Same here. I would want him on my team too. I
Not
like Shador.
actually, because I think I'll keep Joe, but
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. I'll keep Jalen. Give me Hurts all
keep
day
Joe.
over any of them
But
rookies for
I
sure.
would want him on like, I would if I was drafting a quarterback, I would.
Quarterback, yeah. I would if my team was struggling and it was a top pick,
I just want
had
to
a
be
top pick.
so clear. I'll keep Joe,
Definitely.
but I
Yeah,
really like Shador.
yeah, for sure. No, definitely. Speaking of quarterback, when we talk about the free agency, the Broncos were interested in Taysom Hill from New Orleans. Obviously, Sean Payton used to coach him there in New Orleans. So bringing him in there with Denver to kind of be a kind of gadget player
I
with
love the
both.
Taysom Hill specialty packages. He's
Yeah.
such a versatile player. He's not just a quarterback. He can kind of do a little bit of everything. Uh,
Uh-huh.
what a great addition he would be, especially with Bo Nix being, a rookie this year. He could potentially have a sophomore slump of sorts, and to get Taysom Hill in, mix in a couple of specialty packages, could just
Yep.
give them a spark in certain games where they need it.
Yeah.
Worked with Sean Payton
He's just
before.
another weapon.
Yeah,
Like,
he's worked with Sean Payton before, so what a great addition he would be to that team. I think their backups, Zach Wilson and
yeah.
uh oh my God, Stidham, Garrett
Oh
Stidham,
yeah, Garrett Stidham.
Garrett
Yeah,
Stidham,
Jared Stidham.
whatever his
Jared
name is.
Stidham.
Yeah, yeah. Those
Yeah.
are Denver's backups right now. Uh,
Yeah.
so to get a guy like Taysom Hill in there who could actually add something and have
Yeah.
those specialty packages where
Mm-hmm.
the other two guys don't. That'd be
Yeah.
huge for the Broncos. I mean, that'd be a great if they can get him for a decent price. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There was I can't remember which GM it was, but he was trying to get the tush push banned, you know, and which is crazy in
My
my opinion.
favorite interview of the week had to be Saquon and Jalen on what was it, Kimmel? Jimmy
Oh
Kimmel.
yeah, Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah, no,
With
no, Jimmy
Saquon,
Fallon. Jimmy
Jimmy
Fallon.
Fallon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
With Saquon going, my job is the easiest. I push the tush.
yeah. He pushed the tush. Yeah, yeah. That's literally what Saquon does too,
What a fantastic attitude. I heard that he wouldn't go on the show either if they didn't feature the offensive linemen,
which
which
is
is
good. I'm glad.
what a good teammate. The
Yeah.
Giants really lost out on Saquon. He's such a good teammate, such a good
Mm-hmm.
guy. He's funny. You could tell he was nervous, but he had such good comedic timing in that interview.
Yeah.
And poor Jalen Hurts, I think he just wanted to go to sleep.
Yeah.
I think he just
He's
wanted his
tired. He
bed.
was on a
He didn't sleep for
yeah.
like 72 hours.
Yeah, he was on a run for sure. He was at the Super Bowl, then he had to go to Disney, then he had to hit all these interviews. He had like the Jimmy Fallon, and what else was he on?
Everything. He was
Yeah,
everywhere.
he was on
They
everything. Yeah,
shuffled him off to Disney. They put him on Fallon. They put him on
The
whatever.
View. He was on The
he
View, I
did
think.
he did all these interviews, and honestly, both our quarterbacks, both Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow are more stoic kind of guys. They're very football kind of guys, and
Uh-huh.
they don't lean into all of the hoopla of the press and the media, and they're not like big jokesters. It's very
Yeah, yeah.
pretty serious.
Uh-huh.
I think the Chiefs created a psychopath when they beat the Eagles a couple of years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of the things that I'm hearing about Jalen Hurts are making me a fan of his. The keeping his lock
The
screen photo.
screensaver, yeah, of the Super Bowl when they lost. He
Then
says he
then
still has it. He never
then
changed
they
it,
go,
even
"Are
after
you
they
gonna
won.
change it?" And he's
He
like,
said no.
"No, it's just a wallpaper."
Yeah.
That is a psycho. That and I'm here for it. I'm here
No,
for that
yeah.
kind of psycho. I have a similar level of intensity to guys like that,
Uh-huh.
and I'm here
No,
for it. I keep that kind of mentality as well, and to hear elite guys saying stuff like that, I think for me, one, it makes me laugh because I read everything online that people are like, "Oh, that's crazy. He's insane. He's insane." I'm like, "He's the right kind of psycho, obviously."
yeah. Yeah.
I'm the right
I mean,
kind
he
of
took
psycho,
that. He
obviously.
took that and used it as motivation, and then kind of a reminder every time how often do people look at their phone? So, it's kind of often reminder to just kind of stay the course,
Right.
and just keep going and keep working, which, he obviously did 2 years later,
You
you
know,
know.
another one of my favorite guys, Amon-Ra St. Brown. He reads his little list every day of all the players, all the receivers
Oh, yeah.
for him.
Yep.
Those are my kind of people. The people who remember the names,
Yeah.
who remember the moments, and they hold on to it with, not negatively, but they hold on to it and they use it as fuel. Those are my kind
Hmm.
of people.
No, definitely, for sure. Same here. I like those kind of people too. Those are the kind of people you want around you. The people who don't forget, and they're going to work to prove you wrong. You know what I mean? And they're going to keep going at it. And then once they get there, it's just not going to stop. They're going to keep going. So even like with Jalen, they were asking him, like, now that you won the Super Bowl, are you going to take it off as your screensaver? He's like, no, because he's still a reminder to keep going and keep working. So I like that about those kind of guys, and for sure. And everybody needs a little bit of that psyche in them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, no, the what I was speaking on earlier about the tush push, because Taysom Hill going there kind of reminded me of it. Because to me, Taysom is like one of those guys that you could use, in a tush push. Like him hiking the ball, and because he's a
Yeah.
strong guy. But Mark Murphy, the Packers president, you know, this is a message to Mark Murphy. Like, he's you are a crybaby, Mark Murphy, because everybody could run this play. Everybody's allowed to run this play. It's not like the Eagles are the only team that's allowed to run this play. Everyone's allowed to run this play, but you're the one who's trying to get it banned by the league to not run it. It's just like, why not just do it yourself? You can do it too. He can have Jordan Love line up under center and have guys pushing him from behind.
They could
Any
try.
team, yeah, they could try. I think it's just a matter because the Eagles are so successful at it. You know what I mean? But it all starts with your offensive line. In my opinion, obviously you have to have a tough quarterback willing to get down in there and push. But then you also have guys behind you that are helping push, as you said with Saquon.
Yeah.
You know, like
That's
I've seen Dallas. Yeah, I've seen Dallas Goddard get behind there and do it too. So for him to just want it to be banned, I just think it's a crybaby move.
a little
You
petty.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, petty as hell. You need to grow up. And speaking of petty, like let's Dak Prescott, this guy,
That's just delusion. That was just delusion. What? Does he
man,
know something we don't about who they're gonna pick up in free agency? Because he had to be smoking some good weed to say
good,
he was anywhere close to being.
close, anywhere close. It's like, come on, y'all didn't. For one, you guys didn't make the playoffs, y'all. You got a lot of work to do. Y'all got a lot of missing pieces, including your performance. You know, so for you guys to say that you guys are close is crazy. Y'all haven't been to a Super Bowl in 30 years. You know, I had a good friend of mine just turned 30. I'm like, literally, bro, your whole lifespan has never seen the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Your lifespan is the time mark. So
I
it's just like,
aspire to be Dak's level of delusional.
yeah, because it's just like, what are you thinking? And it's just like real petty. Right after the Super Bowl, what
Yeah.
I want to know who was dumb enough to even put the mic in front of him to ask him the question, put the cameras in front of him to ask him a
He did.
question like that. After
He did
they
just
knew
now.
that it was going to be they knew that was going to be news. to
Yeah.
do it by asking him that. It's just like dumb all the way around for him. And then CD Lamb didn't make it any better by saying that Philly fans were more passionate than Cowboys fans, which, you play for the Cowboys, so why would you say something like that? It kind of ruffled a lot of feathers. I got a lot of Cowboys fans that are here in my city in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, and like they were pissed to hear that, from coming from him. Like, they like, well, we're not passionate, it was just like crazy. And then I don't know if you heard what Jerry Jones said about Jalen Hurts. He had said that he spoke and said that if Jalen Hurts would have failed in the draft that year, that they would have drafted Jalen. It's like, what? Why
It's
would you even?
so petty. It's just so like, woulda, coulda, shoulda. It didn't happen.
Yeah,
Relax. Like, yeah, you don't have to get the measuring stick out. I promise you, it's not 6 inches.
yeah,
Like, relax, relax. Go shine the sun in your players' eyes a little bit more, Jerry Jones, okay?
man,
Go
yeah,
smoke some of Dax weed. Because you guys are, why are you talking to the media right now? Be in refocusing mode. Like, make sure Dak's healthy, make sure CD is healthy, go out, get another receiver, get some of your
mm-hmm,
pieces together, make sure Micah Parsons is happy, make sure everybody's all situated, get yourself refocused, do right, go scout, draft well, and then come back and talk. To be talking like this, all three of them, immediately following the Super Bowl, when you guys weren't
uh-huh,
nowhere near sniffing a Super Bowl, is crazy.
yeah. No, it definitely is. And it's like, this is my thing. You already had Dak Prescott as your quarterback then, so to say, if Jalen would have failed to us, because Jalen was drafted in the second round.
Is
He was
that
high picked.
disrespectful to Dak Prescott too?
Yeah, it's like, what are you saying? You already had your quarterback that you thought was your future then. Dak got drafted in like 2016. I think Jalen Hurts came in 2020.
2020.
So, yeah, you already had your quarterback set there. So for you to say that, it's really like throwing a shot at your quarterback. Like, oh, we would have took him there if he would have failed. It's like,
He
it's
just
just
wanted
crazy. I don't.
to sound smart. Like he wanted to sound like, oh, I knew Jalen Hurts was elite when nobody else did. And if the Eagles
Yeah,
had like you're listen,
nah, that's not the case,
not
my
that
guy.
special, Jerry. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna start calling them the delusional boys because I don't know. It's like from top to bottom that organization is just a shit show to me. And every year they get publicized on TV. They're getting talked about on TV. Even the week after the Super Bowl, we're talking about Dallas Cowboys players, and it's like, why are we doing it? Because the people keep putting them on the cameras and the mics in front of their face, and they're just like, stop putting the cameras in their face. Let them boys go to work because obviously they have a lot of work to do.
They
So
need to do some work. They need to
yeah,
stop yapping and do some work for sure.
yeah, because they're 30 years behind on the Super Bowl, and they got a lot of catching up to do if they think they're close to the Eagles, which has been
Apparently they
what,
do.
yeah, yeah. But no, on that note,
On that
we'll
note,
yeah, we'll get out of here. We appreciate you guys listening to us. Appreciate you, Tony, on here every week with me as well. Thank you guys for tuning in to the He Said, She Said Sports Talk podcast. I'm your host, Big Red, along with Tony. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. And as always, peace and love. And we'll see you guys next week.